Hello and welcome to today's video. We will be discussing multi-subsidiary accounting on NetSuite. So get your accountant next to you and let's get started. We will assume that you are using NetSuite 1 World for this and you actually want to set up and you actually want to company and enable the feature such as allowing for multi-subsidiary customers. When you go to enable feature in the company section, scroll down and you will have ticked multi-subsidiary customer. Of course, you also have the accounting context set up. If you go to home, set preferences, you can check if this was enabled on your account. If you see an accounting context here, within the home set preference, that it means that it's been activated. But if this is empty, it means that you need to go and create your accounting context by going to Setup Company Preferences, General Preferences, and in the sub-menu you will see the ability to create these accounting contexts. Once you created them and you've assigned them, of course you have to make sure to have created your subsidiaries. So Setup Company and you scroll down to Subsidiaries. Subsidiaries are often in different currencies, so in case you don't have the currency set up, you're going to want to go to List Accounting Currencies and create them here. Okay, once your subsidiaries are ready to go, you have your accounting context ready. You might have multi-book accounting activated too. And what multi-book accounting is about is it allows you through NetSuite to get your reports out in different templates. It's the same data, but in different templates and maybe using different currencies. So you might want to see your balance sheet or profit and loss in USD or in Euro or Canadian dollar, etc. So just go through the help to have a look at accounting books and how to set them up. We're not going to take too long for this video, not to be extremely boring. I'm going to go straight to the topic. So let's go to the little slide I prepared for you. So we're going to be looking at configuring NetSuite for multi-subsidiary transactions and look at the typical intercompany transactions that NetSuite proposes. So these are the things we need to do to be able to run an intercompany or a multi-subsidiary accounting correctly. And of course, currencies and subsidiaries and tax nexuses are, well, they speak for themselves. But the chart of account and the items, the customers and vendors, they're not as explicit. Maybe people don't really understand what to do there. So if I go to list accounting and accounts, and let's go to an account I already created, because I've been running this video for like 20 times to get it right in one go. And if I'm looking for this account here, and here you go. This account has got a French name to it. It's got a French number to it. And however, when we click on edit on this account, you notice that the account number is a corporate number, 123123, and it's an account name for sales. It's in English. And it's been shared across multiple subsidiaries. So this means that this account, let's say a sales account, doesn't need to be copied every time there's a new subsidiary with its own number and name. And if I scroll down, you will see the accounting context here, FR. That is my accounting context, the one I set on my home set preference, and I'm seeing this number and that name. This way, you can have one chart of account to actually deal with most of your subsidiaries. Okay, that's one step down. Now let's go for the next step. The next step for you to do intercompany transactions, of course, there's the journal entry for corrections, provisions, and whatnot. But what about transactions? So let's go back to our slide. And let's have a look at what kind of transaction we have. We could have intercompany stock transfers. We could have also, let's say, intercompany manufacturing, where some people create the parts, send them abroad, and abroad they work on the part and it becomes something else, and then it's shipped to another subsidiary which actually will sell it. And maybe there's even a purchase order from the original subsidiary to down the production chain to create an item. Now, all of these transactions require customers, vendors, because when you sell to a subsidiary, to a customer that is a subsidiary, of course, from the subsidiary's perspective, the other subsidiary, you are actually a vendor. So you need to have multi-subsidiary customers, multi-subsidiary vendors, multi-subsidiary items, and multi-subsidiary accounts, like the stock account, the receivable account, the payable account. Now, if you've got all of this set correctly, then of course you'll be able to do your intercompany transfers or manufacturing processes correctly on NetSuite. If not, then you're going to run into a lot of problems. We'll also talk about a few other transactions, but right now let's go to the customer very quickly. I went to the account. Now, you know what, let's go to the customer and then the vendor and then the item. So here's list relationship customers. I actually created recently a customer here. Where is it? Is it 3M? I don't think so. I don't see it in the list. Anyway, I'm going to show you what the allow multi-subsidiary preference did on the setup company. When we are on the customer record, if you scroll down, you will see here there is a subsidiary subtab now. So this customer could be shared to multiple subsidiaries. If I edit this and I scroll down to the subsidiary section, I can add multiple other subsidiaries to it. Now, what does this mean? It means also that when you go to your financial subtab, the receivable account that you're using here needs to be an account which is shared across the subsidiaries that you want to share the customer to. If you don't do that, then of course, you won't be able to save your sales transaction, even though maybe your other subsidiary will be seeing it. Now, the same thing is true for vendors. If I go to list relationship and where's vendors? Vendors here, and I click on new, and right now within the vendor page, strangely, there's no need to set vendors to be multi-subsidiary. They already are. You will see at the bottom here of the vendor page, there's a subsidiary subtab, and I can add multiple subsidiaries. But in the same way that customers' receivable account needs to be shared across subsidiaries, the same thing is true for your default payables account and your default expense account if you have any. Okay, so once we've got the vendors and the customers ready and shared across subsidiaries with accounts that are also shared, then we can go to list accounting items. And within the item, of course, we're going to have to share the item to multiple subsidiaries so that all subsidiaries can see it and use it. So the way to do it is on the inventory item itself, you will be able to see if I'm using the right form, of course. I should be able to see the subsidiary field and the ability to share this to, there you go, to multiple subsidiaries. Now you can pick, you can handpick subsidiaries by left clicking on one, pressing Control on your keyboard and just selecting them like this with your left click of the mouse. Now, once these are shared across subsidiaries, you want to make sure that the accounts that you're using within the item are also shared across subsidiaries, because if it's a multi-subsidiary transaction, it's going to be posting the AP or the AR, the receivables or the payables to the customer or the vendor payable or receivable account. But within the item, the expense, revenue, the assets, so the inventory, are going to be posted to these P&L accounts. So you also want to make sure these accounts are shared across the subsidiaries for you to be able to run intercompany transactions against them. Okay, so we had a look at the basic information about intercompany records. So we talked about items, about the chart of account, the items, the customers, the vendors. Now let's talk about the intercompany transactions themselves. So you could have intercompany adjustments, stock transfers, you could have purchases and sales of raw materials, you might need to consolidate the exchange rate, you might need to update the consolidated exchange rates for the currencies, you might need to run intercompany eliminations through journal entries, And of course, all this are things that would take too long to go through on this video, but I'm going to put all the links of where you need to go to do this so that you can pause the video and maybe go on NetSuite and just find them, add them to your favorites. Now, don't forget that when you do a multi-subsidiary accounting, of course, you're going to have the reports to go with. So whenever you go to your balance sheet or your profit and loss or whatever else you have in terms of financial report, so if I go on NetSuite to reports, financial, and let's say I'm going to the profit and loss, you will be able to break down these figures by subsidiary. Okay, so right now I'm seeing a total for West Consolidated. It means the whole group. But I could change the total here to subsidiary and even put a hierarchy to it. Now maybe I'm putting too many years in there and it's going to take forever to load, so let's just go for 2021. So I'm refreshing this, and right now I see that for the Americas, well, for the West subsidiary I have Americas, EMEA, and within Americas I've got North America, and within North America I've got the US. And here are the, well, here's this US one subsidiary, which is the only one with transactions in. But if I had multiple others for each subsidiary, I'd be seeing one column. Okay, so of course I can also change the accounting book. If I've set up the accounting books, I don't think I have this here. Let me see. No, I don't have accounting books set up. I have accounting context, so I can change the report to not show the French number, and change it to whatever corporate there is or a specific subsidiary if I want to, or I can leave it like this. Don't forget to leave a like or subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you and goodbye.